What did your bully do that changed how you saw them forever? Marcus was the reason I hated school in 10th grade. He'd wait by my locker to trip me, make fun of my glasses, and take half my lunch money, telling me to thank him for letting me keep the rest. One day, I found him crying in the empty art classroom. He wiped his eyes and growled, "Tell anyone, and you're dead." The next day, he pushed me twice as hard. Things got weird. He started making a pink and purple friendship bracelet in art class. At lunch, he saved his desserts, wrapping them carefully in napkins. Then Marcus disappeared. Days turned to weeks. Rumors spread. He moved. He got expelled. He was in juvie. Nobody knew the truth. I saw him at the mall later. Before I could hide, he spotted me. But instead of threats, he looked desperate. "You have a PlayStation Portable, right? I'll pay double." "Why?" His eyes watered. "My sister. She loved watching me play games, but now she's in that hospital bed." He pulled out the friendship bracelet, now attached to a hospital ID band. "She's 8. The chemo. She's so scared." I handed him my PSP. He reached for his wallet, but I stopped him. "Keep it. Games help during chemo." A month later, a package appeared in my locker. Inside was my PSP and a photo. Marcus and a smiling little girl with fuzzy new hair wearing matching bracelets. The note read, "Emma's winning. She beat all my high scores. We're seniors now. Emma's cancer-free, and Marcus? He's one of my closest friends."
What's the saddest thing a student has asked you? The green sticky note appeared on my desk at 7:43 a.m. Sarah, my quietest fourth grader, had written in perfect handwriting, "Can we talk after class?" Most students wanted to discuss grades or playground drama, so I didn't think much of it. That day, she was a model student, raising her hand for every question, helping Jessica with fractions, even organizing the classroom library during free time. At recess, I watched her win 3 rounds of hopscotch, her pigtails bouncing as she jumped. When the final bell rang, she waited until everyone left. Carefully, she pulled out a sparkly unicorn notebook, its corners worn from constant use. "Could you check my story?" she asked. It was about a magical birthday party where everything was perfect. Rainbow ponies, floating cupcakes, and endless presents. Soon it became our morning routine. She'd arrive early, always with new stories to share. They grew longer, more detailed. Stories about families staying together, best friends never moving away, and hospitals where everyone got better. I assumed she was processing her parents' divorce through writing. Then one Tuesday morning, as the sunrise painted my classroom golden, she handed me her notebook and asked something that made time stand still. "If I write enough happy endings, do you think my mom will wake up from her coma?"
What did your parents say to you as a kid that still affects you today? I was 7 when my dad looked me dead in the eyes and said, "The world won't care if you're tired. Never let them see you cry." I took those words to heart. When my grandma died, didn't cry. When I broke my arm in football, not a tear. When my first girlfriend cheated, nothing. I became known as the robot in high school, the emotionless one, the guy who could take anything, and I was proud of it, until last month. I'm a firefighter now, and we responded to an apartment fire. Found a little boy hiding in his closet, terrified. As I carried him out, he suddenly grabbed my arm. "Wait, my sister is still inside." My blood ran cold. We'd already cleared that entire floor. There was no sister. His mother rushed over as I set him down, tears streaming down her face. She hugged him tight and whispered, "It's okay, baby. You can cry. Your father was wrong. Boys don't have to be strong all the time." My stomach dropped. The kid looked up at me, still trembling, and said, "My dad always said crying is for babies, but he's not here anymore." I broke down right there, in front of my whole crew. 20 years of locked up tears came flooding out. Called my dad that night, told him everything. There was a long silence. Then I heard him crying for the first time in my life. "Son," he choked out, "I've been trying to find a way to tell you. That was the worst advice I ever gave. I was repeating what my old man said to me. Spent my whole life being strong, and all it did was make me miss out on really living."
My parents sent a group message. "We're giving your trust fund to your sister. She has kids. You don't." I stared at the text while sitting in my fertility clinic waiting room. Third IVF attempt. $15,000 each time. My husband, Eric, squeezed my hand as I showed him the message. "Are you kidding me?" he whispered. Today of all days. What my parents didn't know, I'd been quietly struggling with infertility for 2 years. Every family dinner, Chelsea would make comments like, "When are you giving us nieces and nephews?" The clock's ticking, while I smiled and changed the subject. "Last Christmas," she actually said, "some people are just meant to be the fun aunt instead of actual moms." My mother laughed. My father nodded along. I'd been paying for treatments out of pocket because my insurance barely covered anything. Eric worked double shifts at the hospital to help fund our dream of having a baby. We'd already spent $30,000 of our savings. The nurse called my name. "Emma, we're ready for you." I held up one finger and screenshotted their message. Then I sent it to our family group chat with one addition. Attached is my medical bill from today. Still think I don't have kids because I don't want them. I included a photo of my IVF paperwork showing patient Emma Carter. Infertility treatment cycle 3. My phone started buzzing immediately. Chelsea. "Oh my god, Emma, I had no idea." Mom. "Why didn't you tell us?" Dad. "Sweetheart, we can fix this." Chelsea. "But I already told the kids about Disney World." That last text sent me over the edge. I walked into my appointment, but I wasn't done. During the 2-hour procedure, Eric posted the screenshot on Facebook, tagging all our relatives. His caption, "Apparently, infertility means you don't deserve family support." Meanwhile, Chelsea just bought a $60,000 Tesla. When I came out, my phone had 47 notifications. My Aunt Kathy had commented, "Emma, your grandmother specifically told me that trust fund was for medical emergencies. She struggled with infertility for 8 years before having your mom." My cousin Rob. "Wait, didn't Chelsea blow through her original trust fund on that new car last year?" My Uncle Ed. "Pretty sure taking someone's medical fund for Disney trips isn't what grandma intended." Chelsea's friends started unfriending her. Her book club leader commented, "This is disgusting behavior." Even our old high school friends were chiming in. Kimberly wrote, "Chelsea, this is really low. Emma's been trying for years." The post got shared 200 times in our small town. Chelsea's husband called Eric, begging us to take it down. "People are staring at us at soccer practice," he said. Chelsea's crying. The next day, my parents showed up at our house, not to apologize, to ask me to delete the post because Chelsea was getting hate messages from strangers. Mom looked exhausted. "This has gone too far, Emma. Chelsea made a mistake, but now she's suffering." "I've been suffering for 2 years," I said calmly. "Where was your concern then?" Dad tried his usual guilt trip. "Family support's supports family. We don't air dirty laundry on social media. You're right, I said. Family does support family. So here's what's going to happen. You restore my trust fund today, and Chelsea pays for my next 3 IVF cycles out of her Disney money. That's $45,000. Mom gasped. That's what she was willing to spend on a vacation while I'm trying to have a baby. They exchanged looks. Dad's phone rang. Grandma's old lawyer. Mr. Carter, I've been seeing some concerning posts about Emma's trust fund. Your mother's will specifically states that money was for medical emergencies and life milestones. Taking it for recreational purposes could void the entire estate. Dad's face went white. We didn't know Emma was. Maybe try talking to your daughters instead of making assumptions, the lawyer said, before hanging up. Within an hour, they'd transferred my trust fund back. Chelsea showed up that evening with a check for $45,000, crying. I'm sorry, she whispered. I really didn't know. You never asked, I replied. 3 weeks later, we got the call. The IVF worked. I was pregnant. I posted a simple update. Sometimes the best revenge is just living your best life. Baby Carter coming August 2026. Chelsea was the first to comment. Congratulations, Emma. You're going to be an amazing mom. Funny how family priorities change when the whole town is watching, and sometimes the happy ending makes all the drama worth it.
Mothers, what's the worst thing you've ever done? My son brought his girlfriend Sarah home last week. Sweet girl, helped with dishes without being asked, but something about her face haunted me all night. I couldn't shake the feeling I'd seen her before. Then I caught her crying in my bathroom. Not sad tears. She was smiling, said she'd never had a family dinner without screaming or plates being thrown. My heart broke. As I hugged her, I noticed a small scar above her eyebrow. Something clicked in my brain, but I pushed the thought away. A few days later, she came over to help me garden. When my neighbor's kid screamed playing tag, she dropped her trowel, started shaking, said loud noises just startled her. But I'd seen that reaction before, in my old job as a high school counselor. That evening, my son dropped the bomb. He was proposing, wanted to use grandma's ring, called Sarah the strongest person he'd ever met, said she'd survived things I couldn't imagine. My blood ran cold. I dug through my old files that night, found it. Sarah Miller, age 15, came to my office bruised and terrified, begged me to believe her mom was hitting her. I called CPS once. Her mom fooled them. Sarah begged for help again, but I was swamped with cases. Thought maybe she was exaggerating. I did nothing. She doesn't recognize me now. Weight gain, different hair color. But that scar, it's from the day after she left my office. Her mom threw a glass at her. Yesterday, I finally told my son everything. He just stared at me, said Sarah still wakes up screaming some nights. Today, I'm meeting her to confess, to say I'm the counselor who failed her, the one who could have stopped her pain, but didn't. The ring box is sitting on my table. My son wants to propose to someone I could have saved years ago. Turns out my worst mistake wasn't what I did. It was what I didn't do.
I was the meanest dad ever, until my daughter's drawing changed everything. Every morning I'd yell about unmade beds and messy rooms. My 8-year-old daughter would cry, but I thought I was teaching her responsibility. Life isn't easy, I'd say. You need to learn. I never noticed how she'd flinch when I raised my voice. Then one day, while cleaning her room, I found her art folder from school. The assignment was draw your happy place. Other kids drew parks, beaches, and playgrounds filled with friends. My daughter, she drew herself alone in her room, surrounded by perfectly arranged toys. Her teacher's note broke me. Emma said this is her happy place because when everything's perfect, Daddy doesn't get angry. The paper shook in my hands as years of strict parenting crashed down around me. I sat on her tiny bed and cried. All this time I thought I was preparing her for life, but I was just making her afraid of living it. That night when she came home, I hugged her tight and promised to do better. We started small. If she spilled something, we cleaned it together, laughing instead of yelling. When her room was messy, we turned cleanup into a game. I learned that a gentle try again worked better than any punishment. Last week, she brought home another drawing. This time, it showed us having a picnic in the park, both of us smiling. Her happy place wasn't about perfect toys anymore. It was about us, together. Sometimes the best parenting lesson isn't teaching your kid to be better, it's learning to be a better parent yourself. I exposed how my rich private school treated our lunch lady, and it changed everything. Our cafeteria worker, Ms. Rosa, always smiled, even when students threw food on the floor or made fun of her accent. One day, I saw her crying in the kitchen after hours. She told me they cut her pay, but doubled her workload after firing the other cook. I couldn't sleep that night. The next morning, I brought my phone to lunch and secretly recorded everything. Kids dumped their trays on purpose, calling her their personal maid. The worst part, the principal walked by and didn't say a word. That weekend, I made fake Instagram accounts pretending to be rich parents. I commented on all the school's posts about how disappointed we were that our $50,000 tuition went to schools that mistreated staff. Other real parents started asking questions. The next day, the principal announced they'd heard concerns. But instead of helping, they threatened to fire Ms. Rosa for causing drama. Big mistake. I stood up in the middle of lunch and played my videos on the cafeteria's projector screen. The whole room went silent. Parents started calling. The local news showed up. Turns out, the school had been pocketing cafeteria funding for years. Now Ms. Rosa runs the whole kitchen staff with better pay. And those mean kids, they have to help clean the cafeteria every day after school. The principal got fired last week. Sometimes the best revenge is just showing people the truth.